So, while I have you here, thank you for joining us today and agreeing to talk about how you started to work remotely.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
So, since it's my first appearance live in public, I'm going to introduce myself as well. I'm Audrey. I've been working with you since I think it's about 2019, 2020, 2019, something like that.
Yeah.
So, for quite a long time actually. So we agreed for I ask you some questions and you answer being you. So
Yeah, cool. I'm so stressed to know this question because you kind of know me well. So I'm like,
yeah, no, don't
what were
worry,
you
no
at?
personal questions. Don't worry
Yeah, I
about
think
that.
what I think that is interesting is that we can share about how we did it to work remotely and maybe help or inspire other people to do the same. I know for a fact that most people are looking for possibilities, so it is definitely possible. You just need to set the right mindset and the right things in your life to make it happen. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm letting you go.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And first question, we know you founded Alp a couple years ago. When did you when did you start to want to work remotely? When did it all started? Your desire to start to want to work remotely.
So, if I hear you well, you're asking me when did I start to think about working remotely and Alp and the business model and everything?
Exactly. Well,
Okay,
mostly the work remotely part.
the recruitment part.
The work remotely part.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know why, but my computer is so low that I don't really hear you. But um, it's a long story. So now I know why we will be here for a long time. So um, I've always been an entrepreneur. First, found my first business. I was 17. So after that business, I figured that I wanted my nails done. I didn't want to be anywhere, anytime. So I was looking to be able to travel. And the first thing why I became an entrepreneur is that I was telling myself in CJAP for people from Quebec, so like college, like before college, before university. So I wanted to be a surgeon. So I realized that I would have to study for 10, 12 years, would lead me to 30, 35 years. And then I would have to pay back my debt, my scholarship debt, and to work to be able to afford the life that I wanted. So made me think about, is this really what I want? Stop working at like 50, 60. And I start thinking about it at that moment. It was maybe in 2015. So it lead us a couple of years ago. And I was like, no, I don't see myself working for 40, 50 years, giving my time and energy on something. So that's where it all started. I wanted to be free. I'm always saying that I want to retire at 30. So and it will be possible. So that's most magical part about it. But it is possible to retire after only 10 years. We'll get to that because there's a lot of things related to that, a lot of sacrifice, everything, but it is possible. So yeah, that the first thought I had was I want to be free really soon. I want to work for 10 years and never think again about working. So that was the main thing when I first started the business with the construction company. It was really stressful. Had to do huge days. So when we were planning for the second business, I was like, okay, something remotely that I can be anywhere. I remember in 2018, I was working with a company in US, and they have offices in Canada too. So I was working with them, and John Black asked me, was like, why don't you want to be a manager in our business? And I remember at that time, and I didn't know anything I would do after, but I told him, I'm like, you know what, John, you do 14 million a year. It's been on over 25 years. You work in the industry. You're a leader in that industry. But every morning you need to wake up, take your car, and go to the office to make a meeting. And I don't see myself doing that. I want to be able to work on the beach. I want to be able to travel and work at the same time. So that was one of the reason we found it out, and that I wanted to go remote, to be able to be free to work from Belize, to work from Bahamas, to work from New York. And yeah, and actually when we were working, we were working because you were working with me at this time, when I was driving, like flying back and forth to New York, it was so exhausting. Just a 3 day in New York and coming back home, it would take me a week to recover. And I was like, I can't continue doing that. So that's where we all thought about going remote 100%. The automation system definitely helped a lot, because we were not able at first to do all the processes directly online, which now we can do easily actually. So yeah, and those are all the reason I wanted to be remote. Really, traveling was something important, and to be free is also something that was really important for me. What I mean is like free of my time, free of my work. And free doesn't mean working less. It just means I can work whenever I want and make my schedule how it fits me. If I want to take off and take the boat for the afternoon, I can do it. So that was also a reason to be free. And yeah, I think that covered most of your question.
Well, the first one, yes, covers a bunch of the others, but we're still gonna have details to cover with the other ones. Don't worry,
Yeah,
we have a lot to talk about.
cool.
So, were there times where when you thought it was way harder than you thought working remotely, where you thought when
Can
you
you
thought
higher your
you
volume?
found
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
were there times when it was when you found it was way harder than you thought working remotely, when you thought you could abandon everything, just go back to the office, it's not worth it?
I love that question. Um, I think I'm a resilient person. I never give up. But for the whole first year of working remotely, I was completely a mess. Um, yeah, a mess. I would wake up late in the morning, never on my schedule. And so many things. Like I was not organized. I didn't have a place to work directly, like in the office. Um, I was not constant. I was actually waking up super late during the day and working during all night. And that was not like, it was working, but not that effective. So we need to set up a time when, like when you need it, you're remotely, but normally you should be in the office at 9. You need to start working at 9. Remotely doesn't mean you're not working. It means you're at home when you work. So put in that 9 to 5 minimum. I need to be in front of my computer and work. That was a rule. And also for lunch, so you're in your kitchen, but you don't have to cook. You don't have the time to cook like a whole meal and everything. So I had to start meal prepping. The same if I was in the office, because I only have 30 minutes, even less sometimes, to prepare. And I don't want to lose time, because, or if I'll have to work later at night, and it's harder to work sometimes later. Um, so yeah, a lot of thing had to be set up. So waking up in the morning early, do sports, take a shower, like take good care of you. To don't like when you're remote, sometimes it just feels like you're going to bed and going back to work and going back to bed and going back to work. So doing some activities in the morning, like reading, exercising, were things that I had to include in my schedule. And yeah, after you work your full day, you make sure everything is done. And for my part, I normally would work more because I would stop at around 6, have dinner, then come back. Like I do a list of things that I need to finish this night for the day. So I would go back and work. I mean, that's not everybody. Everybody don't have to do that, but that's what I do. So yeah, that whole setup, it took me about a year to really have the discipline, make sure to have like a life balance to be able to do it, and focus, a lot of focus, because it's easy. Your friends are knocking at your door at your place. They want to go out. So many things that can happen when you're home. So definitely was a big adjustment. Have I ever thought about quitting? Not for that reason. That's what I wanted, so I made it happen. I thought of quitting help, but for other reasons. Yeah.
You never told me those reasons. Could you, actually, it's not a written question, but what were those reasons when you thought about quitting?
Yeah. I have so many reasons, so many excuses.
The
You
more
know,
personal ones you can skip, but the biggest reasons.
I um okay, so I think this one is the time I was closer to quit. I had a great opportunity, a high paying job with a basic salary over 100,000 per year and a commission base on huge contract 15%. So I would have done a lot of money, and it was directly in my field. I knew exactly what they were doing. I was super good at what they asked me to do, and I could have continued doing it. The thing is, I knew that on the long term, that's not what I wanted. I don't want a salary that, for me, I don't want a salary on the long term. It's not for me financially wise, because it doesn't create residual, and like for some people it's good and it's perfect for you. Anyway, everything to say that, yeah, that great opportunity really made me doubt about if I would continue doing full time the help. Um, I think it's the only. I never really thought about quitting 100%. Only sometimes been distracted by other opportunities that were coming my way, which sometimes feels at the moment like a better opportunity. But something I've learned in business for 7 years is that there's always like the how you say that, the grass always look greener in front of you
Yeah,
and
the
at
grass
your
is always
neighbor's
greener in
place.
the neighbor's house.
Yeah. So there's always up and down in every business, and it's important to just know and remember. And that's why I'm sad I don't have my whole. I'm not in my office because we have that statement of uh, remember why you started, and I think that's really important. Definitely. Mm.
Yeah, it is actually, and I think it's the most important statement of of your company. I say our because I'm used to working really close with you, but yeah. So you always have a lot of motivation. You're always on point. You always find a way to do things and do them even if it takes you more time. You always do everything you need to do. How do you find that motivation? Where does it come from? Because most of us do not always have that motivation, and we find it hard to do everything we're required to do. So where does it come from for you?
That's such a good question. And it made me laugh. You're telling that I'm always on point because mostly from where you're standing, that's not exactly true. Everything is done. That's right. I'm not always perfect, that's for sure. But I'm
I
really
didn't say
invested.
perfect. I did not say perfect. I said that everything is done and there's never something that's missing. There's always everything is always done.
Mm,
That's what I mean by on point.
but I like this question. Okay, so I think it's a little further than working. Um, I think I really do it with my heart more than for a financial purpose. I don't really care about the money that it's bringing in. It's mostly because I'm really invested and I really love that company to see that company grow. It's a feeling like of achieving your vision. So it's really about the purpose. That's what keeps me motivated. I have a vision for that company. We have a vision, like our team have a vision for the company, and that's definitely what keeps me motivated. We always have project and make it happen, and to see it change, really, it's a great feeling of achievement, and that's mostly. So it's not really about money. Like for sure, everybody has bills to pay, but that was never really why I started or why I'm doing it. It's really for the purpose and to be proud and to have people also telling you, wow, that's amazing work, and we're so happy to work with you and everything. So yeah, the social part of it, talking with people and enjoying doing business with others, definitely keeps me motivated. Like I often say, I'm like, have I really worked today? Like, I've been 15 hours on a call, like call that talking to people on the phone, but I don't feel like I'm working. So that also, if you like what you do and you're doing it for the right reason that it's aligned with your own purpose in life, I think you will always be motivated to do it.
that's uh that's actually great.
Mm,
And I know that a lot of people, including me, find it really hard to follow a tight schedule when you're working from home, when you don't really have one set up for you. How do you manage to always follow your schedule, always do what you have to do? You know what I mean? I saw your face. You know exactly
yeah,
what
I'm
I mean.
laughing. How you always okay.
How do you always follow like your your base
You're scared.
schedule? Because some things we can say it. We don't always follow every little detail in our schedules, but the base part of it, the biggest part of it, how do you manage to always
Yeah.
follow it?
That's exactly what I would say. I don't think I'm able to follow my schedule 100%. If I've planned something during the day, it has to be done before I stop working. That's for sure. So you don't want to get late on your work. You need to finish it, and mostly by being remote, sometimes I stop and I talk with someone. Around my place, or I go for a training, so I'm not always on a 9 to 5 schedule. How you Okay, so my schedule is based on either I plan an afternoon or a morning or an afternoon, so it allows me to have enough time during my day. So even I have meetings, I know I'll have like 4 hours meeting in the morning and I have all my afternoon. So if I need to send any emails or do any adjustment or there's any emergency, I have a 4 hours free where I have projects. So every week I do a list of things I need that needs to be finished, and I just go on the next point. But I don't plan it. So sometimes it happens that I just don't have the time in the afternoon because all over meeting. We had clients reaching to us. They wanted more information, or we have an issue with the system, or whatever it is. So you always have things that you don't plan, and like just responding to email is most of my job. So I just don't plan too much thing in my day. Just put what's really important, in the rest is like a free time where I get those things done if I don't have time. So I think it's Bill Gates. I don't remember which book was it, but he said that every day he would wake up, drink his like take a shower, have a cup of coffee, and plan three things to do. So I mean, most of the time we my list is super super long, but I think that's right, that if you can only do three things per day and achieve that, then you're way further. And if that you put it eight but only did two, so only three things. Just plan three things you want to finish. And sometimes it happens that we don't have time, and if it can go to another day, then just reschedule it to make sure you'll do it. But yeah, can happen too. So that's why I was laughing. You say like you're always following the schedule. Like I'm trying to be like before the due date, so I'm never like I have like a buffer in between if ever I don't have time that day to do it, because it happens. Emergency do happens.
It does
But if you
happen,
plan it
but
well.
in your part, I feel like it's less procrastination and more, more of other responsibilities that come in.
I mean, I think this goes a lot with the motivation. Like, I wake up super early in the morning and I'm prime. I'm like, let's do it. I want to work. I want to do my things. And I know I have things to do and we have a business to run. So, definitely goes with the motivation also. So, yeah, it can happen. You don't want to, like, there's some task I hate, like accounting. Oh my God, I need to send invoice and it's like so hard. And it goes day after day after day. But I mean, plan little things, three things, and you have three things to do. So do the worst first. So accounting first, then the things you like to do, and it goes fast.
So just like when you eat a meal, eat what you hate the most at first, and then slowly work your way to what you like the best.
Yeah, kind of.
And I know that you get distracted sometimes, but you always come back to what you have to do. What are your best techniques to stay out of those distractions?
There's a golf cart just passing beside me, so I got half of your question.
Exactly
But
what
you're
I was
asking
saying.
you're asking about how to stay focused on your work and not be distracted by everything around you.
Yeah, what are your best techniques to get out of the distractions that surround you? Because we know that when you're at home, or even if you were on a paradise island like you are now, there's always something distracting us. Just right now, for example, I'm thinking about making myself some popcorn. So how do you stay focused? How do you personally manage to always come back to focusing on work?
That's another good question. I love your questions. So to stay focused, it's kind of hard at home. You're right. We were talking about it earlier. Personally, I have a couple different things I will do if I'm not focused, and I'm ADHD, so I'm never really focused. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not focused. It's really hard for me to stay on a task for a long time. So first thing, have an office, close office. When people knows that when the door is closed, you don't go in, you don't go to talk. It was a little the same of when we were in the office. Um, so yeah, have an environment. Your environment is really important. Also, I clean a lot my office. Like it's a place you don't want papers around. You need a clean space because it will allow your brain to be clean, like have a clear vision too. Super important to have the right environment to clean it, so you can only focus on what's in front of you. I also use headphones, so not the little ones. I have huge headphones and I'll put music on. So it really helps me just focus on what I have to do. One of my mentor would tell me just put your phone on plane mode so nobody can reach you. Sometimes you have to do it. Sometimes you can't always take phone calls. In my case, it's mostly emails, but when emails goes in, I'm looking at it and I lose time. So that's another thing you can do. Just put your phone away, listen to music to focus. Um, when I have a hard time focusing it one day, I would go for a run. So training also really helps. It can be a walk outside. It can be anything just to like breathe a little and oxygen your brain, and you can go back and then you're more focused. What else I can do? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's what I do when I have a hard time focusing on my work.
Actually, those techniques are really, really, really good, and I'm impressed by a lot of them because I don't know if people, but personally, I think that when you work from home, sometimes you don't really have the time. You don't feel you have the time to go for a walk, or let's say, for example, I'm in Quebec, so in Quebec it's a lot snowy, and you don't feel like going for a walk because there's snow all over your balcony, all over the place. It's really
Yep.
freezing outside. You don't want to go out, and actually, I'm quite surprised that you still did it, even when it was like minus 30 degrees Celsius, and you still went for walks. You still went to oxygen your
Berlin.
brain. I'm really really impressed that you did that because even I have a great tolerance to cold, and I don't go out when it's minus 30.
I would not go back.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to. You don't want to either. It's you really don't
Mm,
want to. Let me just say that. So another question I have for you is I know we talked about times where you wanted to quit, but were
yeah.
there times when you thought about not quitting, but getting back in an office, having an office for the company? Were there times when you thought about that, having an office where everybody would go to work, would come in when still get their schedule done as they are doing now, which is they're doing their own schedules, but everybody had to come to the office to work.
Sorry, the banana bread man. Yeah. So have we thought about going back to an office?
Yeah.
Um, my friend Mehdi Hamu has an office, and he gave us over 10 desks that are still in my dad's place. So yes, we thought about going back in an office. We will probably reopen an office eventually. Um, the thing is, to the challenge we have is really the training. So yeah, we were thinking about it so people can come in and do the training with someone and come if they need anything, come to the office. I think the limitation with this is that it's a physical office, so we don't we only can have it in one city, and it's harder to go there. So it has at some point been a project, but I think that with everything that happened, like that's happening, and we are no longer thinking about it. The metaverse and everything that is virtual is definitely more a way for us to go. But I still have a desk. So if ever one day we're doing it, I'm not going to go back to Montreal. So maybe we'll reopen it in Montreal or somewhere else. But no, I'm not. Now we're not thinking, but we were. Yeah, for training.
That's actually something that I thought about a lot a lot of times that maybe having an office where we can train people, and not only one, maybe having some all over the place, all over the world, because we know
Yeah.
that you want to open all over the world to have people working with us uh, everywhere.
Yeah.
So, in that mindset, is there something that's um, something that you always wanted to achieve, to have people working with you from everywhere in the world, no matter where they're from, no matter where they're situated, they can still work with us? Is this something that you always wanted to achieve, or is this something that came up later on, let's say 1, 2 years ago?
Um, I mean, not all my life. No, that's not. I think yes, kind of, because even before I've always had a vision, a world vision. I didn't want any of my business to stay in Quebec or in Canada. I wanted to be worldwide. That's for sure. It really, like with the remote system and the automation system we've developed, and it was, yeah, definitely a purpose to be able to work mostly to empower women in business. Um, but yeah, it was at that point. So I would say since 2018, that vision is way more like it's clear, that we want to work with people all around the world. We had not much yet, but that's definitely what we are working on to expand. So yeah, and my vision was mostly to be able to give opportunity. I'm sorry, to give opportunity to people all around the world to have the same opportunity as people in Canada or in US. That was mostly what we were looking to do, definitely, since 2018. So I would not say forever, but for the past 4 years, that's definitely the vision.
That's great. And I have a quick question for you, for people who are thinking about starting to work remotely and that don't know where they sit. We know that the pandemic had a lot of people start to work remotely, and some of them still think it's hard. So, what would you say to those people who want to start working remotely or still find it hard after now it's going to be 2 years
Yeah.
working remotely, back forth, depending on their situation?
I have a lot to say. So I think the first thing is that people have to understand that they can't expect um, the same business relation, like employer-employee relationship they had in the past. Um, so don't think you'll just have a salary as working as you were working in an office before. It's not impossible, but that's not most working online job are. And I think in the workforce, what we are seeing in US and Canada, we do see specialization and freelancing a lot. So why are these two really growing? Is that business can hire someone to do a specific contract and to move on to another. So they don't have to pay someone in their office. They don't have to pay someone for different jobs. So it's really specific. So for those who want to work online, I would say specialize in a field, find a specialization, and then find contract online to be able to generate money out of it. And there's also a lot of possibility, like a lot um, to learn. You'll need to learn a skill. So working remotely, if you have no skills or haven't done it before, probably you're gonna take almost a year to learn a new skill and to set up your habits and to find contract and to be able to really live out of it. And it would depend for everybody, but I mean, you can go on Google, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, universities who are completely free and online. You can learn a skill and you can be hired in this company after. Earlier, I was talking with a guy who do web security, and he works on platform like Bug. I don't remember how it's called. Bug bound programs for companies. There's affiliate marketing company. Every company has an affiliate marketing system. So there's plenty of way to do it. You can also work with Fiverr as a freelancer from wherever in the world. So definitely any skills you have or anything that can generate money, you just need to think in terms of service. Like I'm offering a service for a certain amount and not I want an hour paid back. If I'm working an hour, I want a salary. As I said, it's not impossible, but like I mean, my mom is a lawyer. She works with one of the biggest company in Canada, and she's now working remotely and didn't change anything. But she had a skill. She had a skill, and she was in the company for years, and she's specifically trained for that. So working from home is not a work in itself. It's just a way we're right now working. But you need a specialty, you need a skill to be able to exchange it for money. Yeah.
And actually, I know there's also for people who are skilled and want to help people learn, there's a platform that is called Skillshare. I think it's called Skillshare. And
I know
you can post,
Fiverr. I know.
yeah, and you can post training videos for people to learn from you. I know that there's that possibility also for people who are skilled, who want to help others. I remembered that platform just now actually. And
Diane is teaching. I know people from here, they're teaching online. So as you said, they offer their service, people pay for their service, and they teach by Zoom. So
mhm,
yeah, also great possibility there.
yeah,
I mean, I had a friend too here. He did many videos of me with his drone, and it was so nice and amazing views, like amazing. And I was like, you should sell that. And he was going to travel outside South America. So I was like, you should sell your videos and picture. You would do money out of it. And so yeah, it's everything that you can exchange for money. You just need to think more about service and product than in terms of time.
yeah. And I know we talked a lot about what you liked less about working from home, what was harder, but now comes the big question of what is it you like most about working from home?
What I like most about working from home,
Yeah.
um, I can manage the business from here, and I would be able to travel. I mean, not travel. If you read the article we I wrote on LinkedIn, you would have my opinion on that. But not travel. But I mean, be at a different place. So if I want to go Florida, can go to condo in Florida, work from there. So it's not that complicated. Um, I love to be able to work on the beach. I do that often when I don't have meetings. I would go on the beach and yesterday I was watching the sunset while working, so that's nice. I need. I like the fact that here it's hard because it's so small that I can't really train. But in Canada, I would do a lot of training for triathlon. So during the day, I would go out for 4 hours training. So that is also like the conciliation with my personal life and working life is definitely something that working from home, it's not only 9 to 5. And I remember, like, do you remember we would go in the office at like 8 in the morning and go out at 9, and then I had like 1 hour to be home, and it was exhausting. So
Yeah,
now you finish, you close your computer, and you're out. So that's a great thing too. You can work more with less resources of time. What else do I like about working from home? Everybody want to know how you do it.
people
Yeah,
look up to you a lot because you're able to manage working from home and still having time to go out with friends, to go out with well, just to go out even by yourself, go partying even sometimes.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and
yeah.
I know that people look up to you for that, and
Yeah, and my next goal is to buy a catamaran and live on it. So that's also a great part of working from home. It makes it possible to just work on the boat like full time. So yeah, it's definitely, it opens a lot of possibilities.
it does. And I remember waking up at 7 a.m., getting out at 7:15, being at the office at 7:45, and you were already in the office, and we would get out at 9, 9:30, sometimes even 10. And I remember how exhausting it was. I mean, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's it is something big to a big change actually that we did.
Yeah. And just so people know, we haven't seen each other physically for almost a year.
Yeah,
But we work together every day.
last time we saw each other, we went to the restaurant. It was not even for business. Last
Yeah.
time we
No,
saw
no,
each other, it was
no.
to go to the restaurant, and my boyfriend
Yeah.
came in. Just to say that.
Mm.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to ask you on my part. So is there anything else you want me to say? I know that we still have a lot of time we can uh, we can
Yeah.
use because we took actually a lot of time out of our schedules to be able to do this.
Yeah. Um, yeah, thank you for doing that with me. It was so much fun, and I hope people that will help some people find their way online, because we received so many people sending us requests for working online. But definitely get a skill set so you can be able to exchange it for money for a living, and yeah, it is definitely possible, but it takes a lot of time. And for my part, like, for sure, I own the business now, but it took me like, what, in 5 years I've paid to work. So it's like not exactly the same mindset as if we were just going in, um, working for someone who would look for us and telling us what to do. So yeah, definitely time to change a little how we see the workforce.
Yeah, well, actually, it really made a change in my life. I remember having that mindset of employee of 9 to 5 or set schedule where you go out, you work, you come back home, and you do a couple of things. And I know it changed my life for the better. And I was not in a great place when I met you, and now I'm in a way better place than what I was. I know that there's always something that I can rely on if there's anything. I know that in our company uh, we don't promote the employee employer relationship. We more promote relation. And you're on mute, by the way. We more promote the everyone's on the same level type of relationships in our in the company. And that is
Yeah.
something that I actually admire a lot because I don't see one company that I can think of one company that does that. A lot of them will say that they promote that everyone's on the same level. You can go talk to your boss if there's anything, but most of the time, and I know that people will be able to say it, if you go talk to your boss, you're gonna get the message that, well, it's not my problem, just go away. So yeah, that's something we should. I think we should say to the world that we
No, you're right.
yeah,
It's both situation change. Like you
yeah,
can manage as you were managing 25 years ago. It doesn't work just anymore. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's something I think the world should know, that those type of companies, our type of company, we're completely different, and we're looking to change the world. We're looking to change how people view working, and I think we've managed to do it for the best since the beginning.
We're doing pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
I mean, I know it takes time, so I'll be patient and it will always pay back.
yeah.
And I think we already made a big change and it will just continue growing in the future. So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I don't know what you think about it, but I actually think that an environment where you can just be yourself in a meeting. Uh, I vape, so just being able to do that in a meeting, it's just
Don't
wonderful.
tell
And sometimes
anybody.
I get so stressed out, I need to do it, and
Yeah.
in my other works, I wouldn't have been able to do it, and now I am, which is something that helps a lot if you need something for your stress. I know that working remotely, some companies like us will allow you to just get your stress reliever, and I don't know what you
Mm.
think about that, but that's something that I think uh, is great, to be able to have a stress reliever with you by working remotely. You're able to have all your stress relievers there and just
Yeah.
relax, take your time. As as a contrary, in the office, you just have all that stress. You don't have all your stress relievers with you. For example, some people have their dogs that are there at home and that help them relax. Well,
Yeah.
in the office, you can't have your dog. You can't have your dog
Yeah.
with you and just relax with your dog when you're feeling too stressed out.
Mm.
I
No,
don't know what you
definitely.
think about that, but
I mean, we are allowed it at the office. You could bring your dog. I love dogs in the office, but I completely understand your point.
yeah,
And in our other order of idea, I don't know. I don't see the like life. But for every people that are looking, we're definitely right now hiring. So if I can just add that to the, we are looking for people that are mostly independent. We don't want to micromanage anybody. So if you ever had any skills in programmation, automation, recruitment, sales, so business acquisition mostly, we don't do much of a sell because it's an easy product. Everybody needs it anyway. So the sales are pretty easy. You just need to contact a potential client and make decision with them. So yeah, if you're looking, I mean, I guess Audrey, you can add some link to go on the platform or just go on the website and you can apply directly. As we said, we're 100% remote, so if that's what you're looking for and you're skilled, then you can still apply.
yeah, of course. I will add the link to our platform in the description below. And there's also something that I just thought about. You talked about Fiverr as a platform for independence,
Yeah,
but we are also working towards that. So
that's true.
and there's also an opportunity for right now, actually, for people who have a job but are still looking to have meet ends. As we all know, times have been hard for the last 2 years, and for people who are looking to have meet ends, we have an
Yeah.
affiliation program, which you create your link. We have actually the video uploaded on our YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and you
You
can.
can link the
I can.
video, but you have the explanation for the
I
affiliation.
will link the affiliation video. It's in French, but there are English subtitles, and we will do it in English as soon as we have time. And so I will link
That's
both of these in the description. And yeah, so every time that someone gets your link with your personal link, as explained in the video, is hired, you get automatically $25 on your PayPal account. If you don't have one, we can always work our way around it. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And there's a lot of opportunities that we can provide also if you don't want to work remotely or anything. We still have jobs for you. So with the I will link for the job offers for us. I will link for just the platform in general, and I will link the video for the affiliation for sure.
Thank you so much for, as I said, doing that with me today. It was a lot of fun, and I hope it will help some people out there. And maybe if anybody see that and are interested in knowing more about their business, then definitely can be interesting too.
Yeah. Is there an email address or phone number that I can put so they can join us, either you or I,
I just
directly?
put the link of the platform so they can send of the website so they can send their resume, and one of her recruiter will be on and make sure to invite you to a presentation.
All right. Perfect. So, well, thank you for being with us today. And that will conclude our live about how how actually Alice works remotely, how we work remotely, and yeah. So I wish everyone a great day, a great night, a great whenever you're listening to this, because you will be able to view the